guys, just doing a little jam to get things started, waiting for the computer to catch up so I can see all your questions and comments as we go here. So I had some questions after the stream on Saturday about the wide interval tapping lick, so I thought that I would kind of follow up on that. So what we did there, we were going, just to recap, starting from the 6th string, we were going from a C major, D major to a G major chord. And the outline for that shape, if you weren't here or didn't see the video, is going root note, octave, 5th, and 9th. And then we are tapping on the same strings, the 5th, okay, the 3rd, and then the root note, and the 5th again. And we tap that left hand, hammer on from nowhere, or tapping on the same string and pulling back off, and we're doing that in kind of a triplet feel. I posted the tab. If you guys haven't seen that video, check out the video, grab the tab for that. I won't walk through the whole thing again because there's a half an hour video on that. But what I wanted to do was then take it kind of to the next step, and something that I think doesn't happen a lot is maybe taking something like that idea and exploring it on your own. Let's say what I would do naturally is say, how can I play this on a different string set? Some obvious things you want to do is different tonalities, like, minor and diminished, augmented, everything you can do possibly with it. But I think a great thing to do is to take that same concept and say, okay, well, how can I play this in different string sets? So we're just going to be approaching it as a 6-string idea. If you have a 7 or 8 string, obviously you have more options. So we're just going to move this up to the 5th string. And let's just kind of try to keep it somewhat simple. We'll go in the key of C, and we'll start on F. Okay. Let's just walk through this. I'm just gonna pull up the video so I can see any possible questions that might come up, because that's really what I'd love to have happen here is answer your questions in real time as we go. Anyway, so. What we're going to do is we're starting from the 5th string, 8th fret, okay, tapping that with the left hand index finger, and then we're going to have the 5th of that, all right, with the ring finger, and then we're going to jump up, and we're going to grab a G, which is the 9 of the chord, or 2, however you want to think of it, and then we're going to grab a D, which is going to be the 6th of our chord. Just thinking of this based around a simple F major, or really just F, but thinking of an F major chord. Okay, and then we're going to jump up, again tapping the 5th. We're kind of keeping the same concept, but then we have to choose a couple different notes to make it work in the key on the fretboard in this space. Okay, so we're going to have tapping the C, which is the 5th, and then we're going to go to the E, which is the major 7. So we're tapping 5ths, 7ths, and then keeping with the same pattern from the last time, trying to keep the feel somewhat similar. So 5th, 7th, root note again, and then 9. Okay, so what we have to think about is as we go from major chord to major chord, is in those overall tonalities, do these intervals line up? Do they match? So if we're thinking we're in the key of C right now, this is a Lydian kind of, that's where Lydian lives. So we have a major scale with a sharp 4. And we don't have to really worry about changing any intervals here because we're not involving really any fourths. So there's the lick in that spot, okay? So hammer on, tap, pull off, hammer on, tap. Oop. Yeah, sorry, it just sounds funny when you hear the 7th stand out on its own like that. It's a nice, pretty interval. Okay, hammer on, tap, pull off, hammer on, tap, pull off, and then hammer on, tap, and pull off. Okay, so 5th, 7, 5, and 9. So now we're going to move that up to G, which is Mixolydian. So we'd be thinking, okay, major with a flat 7. So right away that stands out to me. Okay, we tapped 5th, 7th, 5th, and 9th. When that 7 comes up, now we're going to have to move it down a fret. Everything over here is going to stay the same. Okay, we've got root note of G, 5th of G, so it's kind of like your power chord shape. The 9, that works in Mixolydian, okay, because there's no flat 9 necessarily. And we've got an E, which is the 6th of G. So that works perfectly. And then we're gonna go up and tap D, and then instead of playing a major 7, we're gonna have to play a flat 7. So our shape changes a little bit. Okay, and then we're gonna tap the octave of the D again, and then we're going up to the 9. That works great. So we're getting a little more mode specific here. Last time it worked out perfectly to kind of just copy and paste it up, and we didn't really necessarily talk about that, but it's good to try to cover all the bases. So that's a Mixolydian version of this, or dominant version. So use that at your next blues jam. See what happens. All right, so then moving up, let me just refresh here once. There's a pretty long delay today. I tested it earlier. That's all right. So if you ask a question, just give me a minute, catch up. But I'll just keep going. I'm gonna wait for questions. So then we move up to C. So we had F, G, and now C. Now our 5th up here is going to be, I'm kind of maxing out the fretboard again. So we've got a G, and I guess, sorry, let's walk through left hand. We've got root, 5th, 9, and then our 6th again. So works out perfectly. Very comfortable shape once again. It's really just 2 power chord shapes. And then tapping, the 5th is going to be a G. That's going to be the 22nd fret of the A string. And then the major 7 is going to be B. And obviously C Ionian, it has a major 7, so we can just stick back to that major 7th. Okay, you could even play just. Let's talk about practice approaches in a second. Let me finish this concept here. So 5th, 7, and then we're back to the 5th again. Every time we're kind of doing an octave of that note. And again to the 9. Works out perfectly in Ionian and Lydian. We only have to alter for Mixolydian with the flat 7. So we've got 2 of the same shape, so you may want to work on those. You get really comfortable with that, just realizing that you're kind of just copying and pasting, for lack of a better term, up the fretboard. Okay, so plenty to work on there, obviously. And then to mix in that shape in the middle to go up to G Mixolydian, it's great because it's once you've been working on those 2 major 7th type arpeggios back and forth, it really can change things up just to hear this different sound with the flat 7. You know, just to really give you some variance and keep you focused when you're practicing, because I find that that's one of the challenges of practicing, is making sure you're staying inspired and finding new things to work on. That's why we do these live streams. Let me just refresh one more time. But yeah, so I'll post the tab for this. We're gonna go for 100 likes again. That worked out perfectly. It took about a day, which is awesome. Great. If you guys have any questions as we're going here, by all means, don't be shy. If you have the question, someone else probably does also. And if you guys want the tab, just hit like, hit share, get some friends here watching so that, you know, we might get some more likes sooner and post the tab up. Anyway, so let's look at some things that we could do with this. So we kind of briefly talked about Lydian having a sharp 4. But that's not coming up in this. So what if we want to make it a little more mode specific? All we'd have to really do is take one or both of your fifths and drop it down a half step, okay? Because if you flat a 5, it's also the anharmonic equivalent of that is a sharp 4. So it's really simple. If we've worked at, let's pretend that you've taken some time and worked on this pattern a little bit. You're getting really comfortable with it. And the way you want to work on this, obviously, there's different approaches. What I would recommend doing is starting with kind of the physical part of it. Maybe a clean tone or lower gain. See if I can blend that X effects in there. And just work on that, you know, put a movie on. Oops, getting a little sloppy there. But see how long you can do that for. Keep it clean as possible. Because you really have to, when you're doing these hammer-ons from nowhere, you really have to have a lot of control going on. You have to be very comfortable with that. And you have to kind of hammer on a little bit harder than you might be used to. Just to get the power going. Not necessarily from farther away. Think of it kind of like the Bruce Lee 1-inch punch, you know? Anyway, so let's look at changing this interval. So you could keep that fifth and maybe change that one so that it's Lydian. But then that's opening a huge door to how flexible this could be. You can really, I mean, if you were in the key of C, anything is going to work as long as you stay in the key. But a good place to start is outlining the mode, or the chord that goes with it. So we'd have the Lydian, then our Mixolydian. You know, so we want to make sure that we're highlighting that flat 7 with the major sound. So you could tap the third up top if you really want to. You know, the options are almost limitless, especially if we get into altered chords and you're going towards a specific goal. Obviously, you could tap whatever you wanted to and just say, hey, I meant to do that. But it's better to have a certain tonality in mind and know what you're going for. So a great exercise with this is creating progressions. So we've talked, like last on Saturday, we went through the 6th string version of this. So you could work on not just moving up and down that 6th string, but now crossing string roots. Okay. So there was just a 1-4-5 progression in tapped arpeggios. So the sky's the limit. You want to just unleash your creativity. Obviously, first you need to get really comfortable with the approach of this thing. But that's the joy of practicing and the guitar and the constant challenge, hopefully. So if you guys have any questions about this, feel free to leave them in the comments. Video is going to stay up forever. So it was never going to go away. You can always keep going back and rewinding it and reviewing the concepts. But once we get to 100 likes, the tab will be posted. I'll post up the tab for, the 3 shapes going up the 5th string, and then I'll also tab out that last little progression that I did to give you guys a couple different ways to work on it. But that'll conclude this for today, unless we have any glaring questions at the moment, which it looks like we're good on. So, guys, if you guys are enjoying these free lessons, please take a look at Front Stage Music. Let us know if you have any questions, if you're looking for any kind of gear at all. We have a lot of great Charvel, EVH, Jackson, the list goes on. Strings, amps, pretty much anything you're looking for, we can help you out with. Just let us know. If you can't find it, we'll give you the link and make it really easy for you. We get customers all the time that are maybe they're just looking for a feature set. They want single coil in the neck and a Floyd Rose in a certain color, and you don't have to go browsing. We can just give you the best prices and a list directly. So we're all about the best customer service we can possibly give you. So yeah, again, if you guys are enjoying the free lessons, consider giving Front Stage Music your business to keep the free lessons happening. And if you guys have any requests, certain concepts you want to go over, don't be shy. Let me know. I was going to do something different today, but I did a follow-up because there were so many questions about the tapping issue. So glad to do that. And I think maybe we'll stick with this for a little bit. We'll see what happens with the response for this video, because there's obviously a few other things we could do with this as far as other tonalities and kind of completing the key of C. We need some minors and we need a diminished. So anyway, guys, let me know if you have any questions. Leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you, or shoot us a message and we'll get back to you. And I'll see you guys in the next stream in just a couple days. All right, have a good one.